Real Country 1430 AM and 107.3 FM WRDN. This is the WRDN Morning Farm Report. I'm Brian Winnekins, and joining us today, John Linder, president of the National Corn Growers Association, and had a chance to talk with John during the virtual version of Commodity Classic. And thank you to our Commodity Classic sponsors, including Wisconsin Farmers Union, A&J Agronomy, Synergy Co-op Osteoplastics, and Silo, the Animal Wellness Center of Buffalo Valley, and Compeer Financial. John, thank you for joining us today. Well, for corn growers, not only across the country, but also in Wisconsin, 2020 was an interesting year, wasn't it?
You're saying a lot there, Brian. It certainly was. It was a rough year. The NCGA is really focused on recovery. So we really, my pledge to the corn farmers has been to help our corn farmers recover and grow out of this pandemic. And I've placed a theme out there that, we'll leave no stone unturned when looking for those opportunities for corn farmers in 2021 and beyond.
What are some of those opportunities Corn Growers Association is looking for to help all of the members?
We really started last year, just very quickly dove into looking at what COVID impacts could be for farmers. And we had a task force, and we looked for opportunities to position farmers well in that. But we also underwent a market recovery effort, which we pulled in members of our value chain, the dairy, the beef, the pork, the poultry, the ethanol, and the list goes on. Everyone in the value chain really came together in that process, and we had a great dialogue, and we've got some outcomes that, it's a short-term effort with probably a 3 to 5 year horizon on building and bolstering markets for not only corn farmers, but those folks up the value chain. And that has opened up a dialogue and a relationship that's a bit like hitting a refresh button. We've always worked well together, but that opportunity to come together and discuss what the future looks like for all of us it's been a really critical piece for us. But we do see an opportunity in the future of ethanol. The Next Generation Fuels Act is obviously a legislative and regulatory process to transition to gasoline fuel supply to a lower carbon and a higher octane fuel, and ethanol is well positioned to work handily in that space. And this transition to higher octane fuel will reduce greenhouse gas emissions, improve air quality, increase efficiency, and grow future demand for corn. Corn growers are a ready-made answer to combat climate change because ethanol reduces carbon emissions and corn sequesters carbon.
How can ethanol play a role in the big push to electric vehicles? There's Volvo's come out now saying they're going to all electric vehicles. Ford's talking about that. General Motors is talking about that. So can ethanol still play a role if these automobile manufacturers start switching over to all electric vehicles somewhere down the road?
Ethanol plays a critical role in the future because not only are EVs coming, they're already here. They've proven there's some value to them. We won't negate that fact. It's reality, right? Technology is ever evolving, but it's evolving in the liquid fuel market as well. So the opportunity to fuel the legacy fleet is real. The transition fleet is there are so many internal combustion engines is still going to be in place if they actually can meet their aspirational goals of 2035. They have to have liquid fuels, and we have the infrastructure in place. And during that transition time, we're already discovering how efficient ethanol is in that space. Get a properly tuned E30 fuel will compete with any electric vehicle out there. So over the next decade, as we push forward, if we can find the right innovation and the right portals through the legislation and regulatory process, that we could extend the life of the liquid fuels market with the efficient use of energy that internal combustions can still deliver today. And corn, it's only going to get better. Farmers are using innovative practices to produce economics that are justifiably solid and sound, and those same practices are really producing value to the environment. There's no denying it. There's a real interest in that carbon space, and I think everybody would like to own a piece of corn production's carbon footprint. It's kind of an exciting time, a little bit of a new frontier. So don't get too discouraged. Yeah, EVs are coming. There's no denying it, but we've got a space in this, and we're looking out for the best interests of the corn farmer at the National Corn Growers. Anyone wants to know, go to ncga.com and maybe slash octane and get a little perspective there as well. And join us in this effort.
Talking with John Linder, president of the National Corn Growers Association today. So, John, you had mentioned working with other groups on recovery efforts in 2021. Does that mean Corn Growers is going to be working with other growers like the soybean growers, Dairy Export Council, the beef farmers, pork farmers, to help kind of work together on exports too?
Yes, solid answer, yes, but we already are. And so there's been a great deal of depth in efforts to driving agriculture to the forefront and keeping its value very recognized in Congress and in all spaces with consumer as well. So obviously there's such a great opportunity for value added products in the world. We are very focused in re-engaging in the Southeast Asia. It's a top priority for NCGA and the trade front. The region is rapidly growing demand center for protein, feed, and renewable energy. What better way than to use corn as a feedstock to put it into meat protein, value add with jobs, and then send it to foreign soil and bring in new dollars to the U.S. economy. Not a better model out there, period. Domestic use is still a great answer for a lot of what we do. So it's all of the above.
Talking with John Linder with NCGA. We've talked a little bit about the exports, okay, a little bit about ethanol. Corn oil. Sometimes I think that's another facet of the corn industry that sometimes gets forgotten. Can there be additional uses for corn oil? We have soy biodiesel. We have soybean oil being used as a lubricant. What about corn oil?
That's a very true statement, because corn oil is actually used in the biofuels market. It's not just ethanol. Certainly, we like the fact that corn ethanol as an octane source is just phenomenal in the liquid fuels, but corn oil is also used in the biofuels as well to help produce biodiesel. And it's probably a little known fact that it has an opportunity as space there too. And there's a lot of focus, as you mentioned, EVs. We'll not dodge that conversation, but there's a lot of focus in the biofuels as far as the larger vehicles in the fleet still needing that biofuels. So yes, corn oil plays well there. We have a great relationship with the Corn Oil Refiners Association, work very closely with them, and they were part of the conversation with our market recovery effort. So exploring all that is very much forefront. We're always exploring new uses as well, and we've got such a great program for that. And the opportunity of some of the winners in our Consider Corn Challenge come to full fruition. There's an amazing amount of corn that will disappear through new uses if we can really land some of these new ideas in the right place. And we're continually looking for new ones, but we've got some solid ones in play. And so demand opportunities are there for the corn farmer as well.
Talking with John Linder, president of NCGA this morning. Had a chance to talk with John during the Commodity Classic, the virtual version. John, you mentioned the Use Corn Challenge or Consider Corn Challenge. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, what we do is we put an invitation out to researchers to try to bring the ideas of using a renewable feedstock in a bio use marketplace. And so we look at it's a little bit of leaving no stone unturned, because we look at, you bring us the ideas, well, let's help put them together. We actually come together and have a great program through that process. But there are winners that end up kind of getting the leg up based on their entire portfolio and positioning and their idea to help them find grant money, seed money to start advancing their idea and putting it into the marketplace. And I can just reassure you that those folks are excited for the opportunity when they come with these new ideas. Innovation is alive and well in the United States. Farmers use it, but so do the folks in the industry looking for opportunities. And we're just trying to partner corn into that space and doing a handsome job of it. It's well received.
I know, John, this would have probably been 3 or 4 years ago. I still have the mug, as a matter of fact, that was made out of corn. So corn plastics and that sort of thing. But again, it's something I haven't really seen a lot of since then. Where's that industry at? Is that something that is just growing behind the scenes and we just don't know about it? Or what's happening with that?
Such a great conversation around those kind of products, the innovation that goes into plastics as well. So using renewable corn as biodegradable feedstock into that plastics is a great conversation. The competition of moving into a space that's already, you know, pretty solid. Plastics are largely derived from petroleum products. So carving your niche into that and having it catch hold becomes part of the conversation. And the cost structure around new innovation into any type of rollout of that product space. I'm surprised. We'll go to a wedding. Cheryl and I will go to a wedding sometime and turn over the cup when it's empty and look and see it's actually a corn or a bio-based product. And so I think it's a little recognized that it's already there. There's a great appetite for that. In this current administration, there's a real focus. So what an opportunity, right? So I think a lot of that's going to have some real advantage over the next 4 years, if you will, because of the heightened awareness of the environment.
John Linder, he's president of the National Corn Growers Association. Been chatting during our Commodity Classic coverage. You're listening to WRDN.